On June 13, the town of Yelewata in Nigeria's Benue State witnessed one of the deadliest massacres in the region's recent history. Islamist Fulani militants launched a coordinated and brutal attack, killing up to 200 Nigerian Christians, what international aid organizations have since described as the worst killing spree yet recorded in the area. The attackers targeted Christians who had already been displaced by previous violence, many of them living in makeshift shelters. As night fell, the militants swept through the area, setting fire to buildings where families were taking refuge and assaulting those who tried to escape, often with machetes. Eyewitnesses reported that the attackers stormed into the town shouting, "Allahu Akbar! God is great!" before setting fire to the doors of the shelters and opening fire on sleeping civilians. Over 500 people were inside the compound when the assault began. "What I saw was truly gruesome. People were slaughtered. Corpses were scattered everywhere," recalled Father Ukuma Jonathan Angbianbee, a local parish priest who spoke to aid to the church in need shortly after the attack. Father Angbianbee narrowly escaped with his life by dropping to the floor when the gunfire erupted. The priest, along with several other witnesses, confirmed that Fulani herdsmen were responsible for the attack. According to reports, the militants used heavy rainfall as cover and entered Yelewata from multiple directions, taking the town by surprise. Earlier that evening, the assailants had attempted to raid St. Joseph's Catholic Church, where 700 internally displaced persons were sheltering. Thanks to the efforts of local law enforcement, that initial attack was repelled. But the militants soon regrouped and redirected their assault toward the town's market square, where they brutally attacked several buildings repurposed as housing for the displaced. Initial death tolls suggested around 100 victims. However, updated figures from the Diocese of Makuri's Foundation for Justice, Development, and Peace confirmed that the number of those killed reached 200. The scale of the violence has marked this as the deadliest single atrocity in Benue State to date, part of a disturbing trend of escalating attacks across Nigeria's Middle Belt. A senior priest in the Diocese of Makuri criticized the government's response, condemning law enforcement for failing to arrive until the following morning. "Where were they the previous evening when we needed them?" he asked. "This is by far the worst atrocity we have seen. There has been nothing even close." Most of the victims were internally displaced Christians, hosted by a local Catholic mission. "We continue to pray for security, peace, and justice," he said, "especially for the rural Christian communities of Benue State, who have become relentless victims of violence." In the wake of the massacre, Pope Leo XIV offered prayers for the victims, calling the tragedy a terrible massacre. The Yelewata attack is part of a broader pattern of religiously targeted violence. During Lent and Holy Week alone, Fulani militants killed over 170 Christians in Nigeria's Middle Belt. 72 of those deaths occurred in Benue State during the Easter Triduum, between April 18 and 20. These ongoing assaults have raised urgent concerns about religious persecution, systemic insecurity, and the Nigerian government's inability, or unwillingness, to protect its vulnerable populations.